Hello everybody, I'm Cash Pinukita and welcome to the last part in my full series of how to get an S Plus in Resident Evil 2 Remake for noobs. So this is arguably what I consider the toughest part of the whole run, and the main reason being you have to do two pretty tough bosses back to back. However, in this video I'm going to show you what is probably the easiest way of doing it all, because to be perfectly honest, it's pretty tough. So the shotgun, first of all, you're only going to want it for G stage 3. Basically, use it on his eyes, try not to miss. I miss quite a bit during this fight, so I do apologize for that. I do pretty badly, but I still managed to kill him in the end, so sticking close to him, that's a good tip. That'd be my first real tip, is just kind of keep next to him. You want to basically avoid... You want to try and avoid his attacks, especially on hardcore, as one hit will get you down into danger, unless you have the red, blue, green herb on you, but I prefer having them for the actual fight with Super Tyrant. So, as you can see, when his eyes pop out, you want to knife them. They will basically receive a shit ton of damage, and it just makes your life so much easier. Most of his attacks are fairly easily dodged. I find that I do still cock up occasionally, and that's just because he can be a little unpredictable at times, but it's just perseverance really. This boss, you're going to be seeing this boss a lot, so it's just kind of getting into the groove of things. But as you can see, even if you do bollock up like I do, you still get the kill on him eventually. It's just perseverance and having the right equipment, which the main two things you're going to want for this whole fight are going to be the shotgun and the flamethrower. If you do run out, by the way, with the shotgun like I do, just use the pistol. It'll pop the eyes. It'll take a little longer, but it will still pop the eyes eventually. So obviously we're going to pop that third eyeball on his arm now, which actually has the most health of the three eyes, the weakest being the one on his back, the strongest being the one on his arm. But once you do pop that third eyeball, then we will begin the next phase of the boss fight, which I wouldn't really say it's easier, but it's definitely less annoying, because instead of being like 3 specific hitboxes, basically his entire body becomes a hitbox. So you're going to notice after I pop this third and final eye, I'm basically going to end up going for the flamethrower in the arena. That is one key part of this boss, by the way. Knowing what you have supply-wise in this boss arena, you basically have to know what you have, when to use it. So the flamethrower, as tempting as it is, don't use it until later on in the fight. Again, just knife the eyes. You can keep knifing here. He will do an animation and roar, but he won't actually start attacking yet. He will also pretty much always go into one of the bigger towers in the arena, so again, stay on him, just keep knifing. Because the knife basically just does a shit ton of damage in this fight, and it will save you bullets, and it will just make things easier for you. The only other thing I will advise, if he does pounce like that, just move forward, you can get under his arc. It's less likely to give you grief. So here you're going to want to grab the flamethrower fuel, which is on the other side, but I was an idiot and went the wrong side, which is fine because it kind of distracts William Birkin long enough for me to go and grab it. The only real other tip I can give for this fight is just don't use this grenade at all. I know it's tempting, but you're going to want it for the later fight. So if he pounces on you, make sure you have a sub-weapon. If he pounces on you and you don't have a sub-weapon, he's going to kill you. I don't know how else to put it. He will fucking murder you if he pounces on you without a sub-weapon. So if he does that attack, just barbecue him with a flamethrower. Just use all of it, trust me. Some people use the flamethrower on the Super Tyrant, but I find that on G Stage 3 it's much easier. It just does so much damage to him, and it usually kills him. So once you've killed G Stage 3, there's going to be supplies around the arena, including handgun bullets and flashbangs. You're going to want the flashbangs for the Super Tyrant fight if you need them. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you do, but I'd rather have him in case he does his charge attack and tries to kill me. I guess the only real tip that I can give in regards to the G Stage 3 fight is just perseverance. Like I said, he might kill you the first couple of times, but once you get down, it's not too bad. You might come out of it in the danger state though, that's why I usually don't take a health kit with me, because then I have all my health kits for the next part. Particularly with the next part though, I try and make sure I have sub-weapons on me like knives, so that's why I retrieve my knife out of William's ugly face. Because realistically, if I didn't have that, this would be a lot harder than it actually is. Coming up here, by the way guys, literally double check your entire inventory. There is an item box later on, but if I were you, personally, I would just make sure I've got everything I could possibly need. Which, for the next bit of the game, particularly because of the enemies that are going to be there, you're going to want the handgun. You're going to want bullets, about 60 for the Super Tyrant fight. For the IVs, you're going to want a knife, because if they do grab you and you don't have a sub-weapon, they will kill you. There's no sugarcoating it, they will kill you if they grab you and you don't have that sub-weapon to protect yourself. And the only reason I paused the footage here and I've paused the gameplay is just to kind of get this across, because the next bit can go like that. Like, you cock it up even once, that entire section, guys, you will die. So you want the bullet handgun, you want the bullets for it, you want about 60. If you can get more bullets for it, definitely go for it. This is also why I get that storage upgrade at the very start of the game, because you have to pick up a battery for the lift, and it takes up 2 slots, and it means that you have 8 slots for supplies that you're actually going to need. Going into this section, if you are in danger after the boss fight, you use one of the first aid sprays you grabbed at the very start of the game. That will heal you up just fine. As for the actual Super Tyrant fight itself, I'd advise having at least 3 health kits, one of which, minimum, being a red, blue and green herb. This will give you a shield and it will save your ass, I cannot stress. So after the fight, what I usually do, I usually put away basically anything I'm not going to use, because there's no more ammo for the flamethrower, there's no more ammo for the shotgun, so I just equip anything I know I'm going to need. I keep the grenades on me, and there is a very good reason for it. This is also why I haven't grabbed any of the grenades or used them in the lab, because you don't need them up until this point. So I use that first aid spray, get all my health back, and then I go to face the Super Tyrant, grabbing this grenade along the way. You want about 2. I find 2 is the sweet spot with the Tyrant, because while Ada can be incredibly slow getting you the rocket launcher, if you have at least 2 grenades, you can definitely make her be quicker. Because part of this fight is how much damage you do to the Tyrant over the fight, and part of it is how long Ada takes with the rocket launcher. After you've stunned him 3 times, you've got about 60 seconds. So it's just kind of avoiding his attacks and hoping for the best. The world's slowest elevator. See, you have that ticking clock above you, and you might think you're really tight for time, but you're actually not. You can basically tick this fight down to 3 minutes. Like, you could start the Super Tyrant fight with 3 minutes and you'd be fine. As long as you've got the ammo for it. Literally impatience with the lift. So the next bit coming up, there's going to be 3 IVs, and all 3 of them are... They're pretty avoidable, although a very good trick that I often do. They've got these little yellow pus balls on them. If you shoot them, you can stagger them and just walk straight past them. It's just easier than wasting a sub-weapon, but obviously, you know, take the sub-weapons with you anyway. Again, skip the cutscenes, you'll save time, you'll do really well. So once you have your sub-weapons, you're going to leave this door, and you're going to begin the last part of the game. On the way, you do get a free red, blue and green herb. It's very much advised you grab those. If you don't, then you either have plenty of health kits or you're an idiot, basically, because going for that S+, your health items are your saving grace. So, like I said, they've got these little pus balls, just shoot them, they'll get staggered, and you just go straight past them. It's a lot safer than trying to actually hit them with the sub-weapon. Of course, if you're feeling really good, then just run straight past them, but I like to stagger them. I find it safer. I find it's easier. At this point, you don't need your knives anymore. You can get rid of them. You can literally discard them. Some people used them on the Super Tyrant fight, but I find they're completely fucking useless against him. Given the speed of his attacks, the range that he follows you at, the fact that he pursues you so relentlessly in that final fight. Speaking of which, he follows you at this part too, but you can just loop straight around him. Literally just get him here, wait for him to go to the left, and run straight past him. Because now that is the last time he is going to pursue you relentlessly, because you're going to end up cornered in a final cage match against him. And it's going to be tough. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The Super Tyrant fight, particularly on hardcore, is tough. I have died more times to this thing than I've died in the rest of the run. To be blunt. This is basically the final skill check of the game. So make sure you've got handgun bullets, make sure you've got grenades, and the reason you want the grenades is as soon as the fight starts, equip your grenades, throw them at him. Throw the first one. If he does get close to you, just get a bit of space. Use the platform to your advantage. You have very little space throughout this fight, so just kind of keep an eye on him, get the shots in on him when you can. If he does attack you, this is where you want free health kits, because the blue, green and red herb will just protect you from some damage, because obviously he will get you down to caution state and then danger state very quickly, so that shield will make all of the difference. It depends what he hits you with. These rocks on the field, they are very important, and you're going to see why in a minute. So if you notice, he at some point is about to do what I call the... It's a one-hit kill, and I just call it the BS charge, because the fact that he charges you like that and then like nearly kills you. Again, the shield going to work, keeping me alive as always, because like I said, you crap it up here, you're going to die, and it's just going to suck. I have died way too many times during this boss fight. You cannot be too generous with the health kits in this fight. So see there, he does that animation, he starts up his charge. You can either stagger him with bullets like I did there, or if you have a rock in the way, that will protect you from the charge. So you just want to keep running around, use the rocks to your advantage. If he does smash them on you, it's not the end of the world. Just try and position yourself around both in case the worst should happen. So right here you see the timer tick down. And now, use a health kit. I often use a flashbang. It just protects you, gives you that bit of space, and also stuns him, because now, finish him. It will take 2 rockets because it's hardcore, but finish him. And you have just cleared Super Tyrant, which is probably the hardest bit of the whole run, to be perfectly honest with you guys. But for real, once you do those 2 rockets, you only have one more thing in your way, and that's going to be a doorway full of zombies, but they don't pose a threat at all. And then that's it. You know, you run out, you get the train, and congratulations, you've cleared Resident Evil 2 Remake. Well done you. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I've been Cash Nikita. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.